Coming up on the Angus Report, are you maximizing your cow herd profitability? King Ranch Institute's Clay Mathis shares key drivers of profitability.
Spring calving season will soon be upon us. We'll share tips and tricks to make it a successful one.
Then we recap a successful 2018 Angus Foundation heifer package.
And Dr. Richard Wilhelm, a retired animal scientist from Iowa State University, takes us back in time to when genetic evaluation was in its infancy. This is the Angus Report.
Hello and welcome to the Angus Report. I'm Bob Cervera.
And I'm Clint Mefford.
Our top news this week. What makes a profitable cow herd? We caught up with Clay Mathis, Director and Endowed Chair of the King Ranch Institute for Ranch Management at the Range Beef Cow Symposium, where he shared 3 profitability key drivers.
As we looked at the expense side of the equation in particular on profitability, we identified depreciation, purchase feed cost, and labor. Those 3 things make up over 50% of the total cost to the cow-calf operation on average. And so that's where a producer finds leverage. Now let's look at how do we measure if we've optimized a cow-calf production system. And we do that through unit cost of production. Now, not every operation has or does calculate unit cost of production at their cow-calf enterprise. But for those that do, they have a tool that really helps in the decision-making process. So we identified that as one of the tools, and then we dug more deeply into fixed and variable cost. We went through a scenario with fixed and variable cost and showed how even if we're just adding 1 extra cow to a cow herd, if fixed costs are already covered, the profitability, the marginal value of that additional cow is really important. And so we use that information to show when we have drought or when we have wet years, we really need to know what proportion an individual animal makes to profitability so that we can make those decisions on stocking rate relative to the natural environment better. And it really comes down to if producers are going to make great decisions, then they've got to be responding to the natural environment and the business environment. But it's putting those pieces together and understanding fixed and variable cost, and of course the production of the cow herd and cow biology, putting all those together. If you can do that well, you're more likely to reach maximal profitability.
The King Ranch Institute Master's Program teaches students the skills to become great ranch managers. On average, alumni manage 130,000 acres and 4,000 cows. Visit the King Ranch Institute for Ranch Management's website to learn more about the program.
USDA Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Purdue spoke to American Farm Bureau Federation convention attendees in January about his plans for agriculture in rural America. An executive order calls for the elimination of 2 regulations before any regulation is proposed, and 22 regulations have been cut out for every new one on the books so far. Rescinding the Waters of the U.S. rule is one of the most noteworthy rollbacks, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture has 27 more in its sights. In addition, the Interagency Task Force on Agriculture and Rural Prosperity identified more than 100 actions for the federal government to consider to continue to better rural America. During his speech, Purdue put a renewed focus on producers, saying, quote, "Do not ever stop speaking up for American farmers. We're no longer able to hide behind the gates of our farms and expect the world to tell the truth about what we do."
Estate planning can be a tough subject, but it is essential to ensure your operation continues beyond your lifetime. Pamela Olson, a lawyer at Klein, Williams, Wright, Johnson, and Oldfather LLP, shared her practical advice from her experiences growing up on a Nebraska ranch.
Communication is the key for any transition plan to work effectively. And the communication really, wherever possible, needs to go both ways. So the communication is always best if it starts at the owner generation and brings the next generation in where it's appropriate. I think one of the difficulties that operators and owners have is taking the time to really sit down and develop a well thought out plan. When you think about a transition plan, taxes are always a big question, and there are multiple tax issues that need to be addressed inside any plan. The first big tax issue is the federal estate tax. There may be federal gift tax issues involved if there is a transition of assets worth more than $14,000 per recipient per year from a donor during the lifetime of the donor. Then we have federal gift tax questions to consider. There are also, in many states, state death taxes. And then you're always concerned about income tax related issues, including traditional income tax on income earned up to the date of the decedent's death and the year they die, as well as capital gains issues when you're passing an appreciable asset such as real estate.
Olson was a featured speaker at the 2017 Range Beef Cow Symposium. Find more coverage from the event at rangebeefcow.com.
Preventing dystocia is a precaution not to be overlooked this calving season. Studying past calving seasons and management decisions can prevent dystocia or difficult calving. South Dakota State University Extension suggests utilizing calving ease bulls when mating to heifers or small cows that may have trouble calving. Measuring the pelvic area in replacement or bred heifers before their first calf can give producers an idea of which females may have trouble due to their pelvic size. Paying attention to females' body scores, utilizing ultrasound or palpation, and providing adequate exercise also are important practices to prevent dystocia. For more information, contact your local extension or veterinarian.
Less sleep at night, bundling up to brave the cold weather, observing animals day and night. Those are just some of the things producers face every calving season. With spring calving upon us, now is a good time to prepare supplies and equipment needed to assist heifers and cows while they calve. In an article, Oklahoma State's Animal Science Department suggests developing a plan of what to do, when to do it, and who to call for help. Ensure your family or helpers are familiar with the plan of action before calving begins. Oklahoma State's article also suggests stockmen should always have disposable obstetrical sleeves, non-irritant antiseptic, lubricant obstetrical chains, 2 obstetrical handles, mechanical calf pullers, and injectable antibiotics. Non-detergent soap, warm water, and iodine solutions also are great to have on hand. Packing a calving kit in a 5-gallon bucket is a great tool for spring calving season. When we return, we visit the 2017 Certified Angus Beef Brand's Seed Stock Commitment to Excellence Award winners, Doug and Sharon Stevenson of Basin Angus Ranch.
Then we reflect on a successful 2018 Angus Foundation heifer package which sold at the National Angus Bull Sale in Denver, Colorado. Visit angus.media to continue watching this episode of the Angus Report.